Hi, my name is Virginia Rendler, and I currently serve as the Peace Studies Coordinator at Manchester University. I graduated from Manchester with a degree in Peace Studies and Philosophy in the spring of 2020. I came to Manchester from Minneapolis, and I had heard about Manchester through my family and Church of the Brethren connections. And now I am very lucky to be a member of the North Manchester Church of the Brethren. Um, in my role as the Peace Studies Coordinator, I work on providing co-curricular and extracurricular programming for students within the Peace Studies program and others in the community, developing on and off-campus events and helping facilitate with the work that students are doing within the program. So when Gary came to me a month ago, sent me an email about providing the programming for the February segment of Timbercrest Seniors for Peace, your February programming, um, I really wished that I could bring a group of engaged and excited students to you all so you could really get a feel for what students are passionate about and excited about right now. Unfortunately, of course, we are operating under maximum safety protocol to keep all of us healthy and to be able to continue the work that we want to do. So I tried my best to kind of convert that into a video form that you could all view and maybe discuss, just to get a little bit more of an idea of what we do at Manchester, and maybe some opportunities for collaboration between Timbercrest Seniors for Peace and the Manchester students. So I asked a few students, community members, faculty, staff at Manchester to create a video clip of their own and share it with me, so that I could put them all together and share them with you today. And I asked these friends to answer 4 questions, to introduce themselves, what they're studying, what they hope to do, just to talk about kind of their involvement in the program so you could know who you're listening to. Second, why they study peace or why they have studied peace in the past. What current issue in the realm of peace and justice interests them the most right now? And what gives them hope for the future? So within these 4 questions, I'm hoping that you will get a good introduction to kind of a few of the people that are in our community, what they're excited about, what they're passionate about, what they want to make happen in the world. And I'm hoping that that might connect with some of you as well. So please enjoy this video. I'll pop in again at the end to wrap things up. And I really appreciate you all taking the time to engage with what we're doing at Manchester today and in future. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Chloe. I am a junior Peace Studies and English writing major at Manchester, and my involvement with Peace Studies goes beyond just taking classes. I am also the president of the Kinapokamoko Peace Coalition, which is the Peace Studies club on campus, and we meet Monday nights, sometimes online. Got to meet a couple times in person, had some bonfires, which was really nice. But I've also really loved being a Peace Studies major and taking the classes. And as for what I want to do after college, I'm not entirely sure, but I'm hoping that I can incorporate both my Peace Studies and English degrees into whatever I do. I imagine it will have something to do with writing, whether that's creative or journalism or something else, I'm not sure yet. I study Peace Studies because I think it's sort of, not only, an academic area of study, but also just something that can help me become a better person, become the kind of person that I want to be. And I'm not sure that that's something I can ever really achieve because you can always be better, but Peace Studies helps me sort of move in the right direction, and I hope that the things I'm learning are teaching me how I can better myself and how I can help the people around me, help the communities that I care about, and then hopefully I can sort of pass that information on to other people who maybe aren't taking peace studies classes, but I know they want to help too. And I also grew up in the Church of the Brethren, so while I'm not necessarily a very religious person anymore, I grew up with those beliefs and values instilled in me, beliefs of nonviolence, and I still carry all of those with me today. And so that has also had a big impact on me and why I've continued to study peace and nonviolence. There are a lot of issues that I care about. It's sort of whatever seems like the most pressing issue at the moment is what I tend to focus on, but obviously there are so many issues that are there's always things to be learning and things to be doing. But I guess the two issues that mean the most to me and that I am sort of the most invested in are LGBT issues and racial justice. Two things that are very close to me and things that I hope to be able to continue doing work with. Something I think that gives me hope for the future is, I don't know, as cliche as maybe it sounds, the fact that I am surrounded by so many people who care so deeply about these issues, it really is kind of inspiring. And to know that, we're a fairly small group of people, but a small group can do a lot of good. And it's inspiring to know that even in quite a conservative town like North Manchester, there are still people here who care deeply. And if there's a small group of people at every college in the US, or not even a college, in every community in the US, all of that effort combined can bring real change.
Hi, and greetings to the Timbercrest Seniors for Peace. I know this is a program for Timbercrest residents. I've presented there before, and I hope to meet many of you soon. So, in terms of my own introduction, I'm Elton Skundai. I'm Associate Professor of Peace Studies here at Manchester. And I teach on nonviolent action, and I've written on what can countries do to prevent civil war and build institutions that support peace and development. I study peace because I've seen what violence can do to the individuals and to communities. It causes so much, not just physical harm, but like trauma, and it takes time to heal. So I believe that studying and learning about constructive ways to resolve conflict is very important. Right now, I've been doing research on minority groups, ethnic and religious minority groups in Eastern Europe, and what can they do so that they can have better access to health, education, and justice. In terms of my own teaching right now, of course, in the US, there's a lot of interest on Black Lives Matter. There's a lot of interest in racial justice. So it's very prominent in my teaching as well. What gives me hope for the future is actually more and more people are learning about the power of nonviolent action. We see just an amazing increase in the use of protests, demonstrations, sit-ins. So we are the more such nonviolent action is used, the more we're able to build a more peaceful future in which we deal with conflict constructively. As I said, I look forward to seeing you in the near future and present there again. I hope you're staying warm and healthy. Have a good day. Bye.
My name is Jenna Skeins. I'm a junior biology chemistry major and I'm minoring in peace studies. I'm also on the Keenapoke Peace Coalition e-board on campus. Like I said, I'm studying biology chemistry, which is a pre-med major basically, and I'm hoping to become a physician's assistant, so I will go to graduate school after this and then hopefully practice before I'm 30. I study peace to become a better advocate for like my own rights and for the rights of other populations that I might not be a part of, and then to become aware of my own privileges and to learn about the rest of the world and what peace means to other people and what it means for me as a citizen. Some current issues in the realm of peace and justice that I'm really interested in right now. I think in the past year especially, I've learned a lot more about racial discrimination in America, especially for Black communities and for Indigenous communities. And then I think specifically I'm learning a lot right now and I'm interested in a lot right now are economic disparities that might affect those groups more, and also just all low-income groups of people. And then also the prison industrial complex and the police system in our country and how those are connected to each other and how those levels of incarceration contribute to violence in groups of people and violence that's perpetuated on different groups of people. And then something that gives me hope for the future is my peers and like the people in my classes who are also interested in peace studies. And it's really great and like moralizing to see a lot of other people my age who are also devoted to this type of thing, because it feels like if there's enough of us who care about something like this, then we can contribute to change as we become adults and educators and advocates. So yeah.
Hi friends, I'm Becca. I'm the university pastor and director of church relations at Manchester University, and peace has been an integral part of my life since growing up, since as long as I can remember. I was raised in a Church of the Brethren pacifist family. As a kid, peace was at least just something super cool. Peace signs and other fun ways of adorning yourself with peace stuff, whether it be bumper stickers or something else. But it was literally just a part of everything in our lives. Opposition to war, ways of seeking reconciliation over violence, things like that were things that were just kind of in my everyday life. I did go on to study peace studies in college. I was a philosophy and religion major, but I got a peace studies minor at Bridgewater College. Sorry, I'm not a Manchester grad. And currently, probably the most important issue to me in the realm of peace and justice has to do with the environment and caring for creation. I grew up in Church of the Brethren camping, and I serve on the Church of the Brethren Outdoor Ministries Association board currently as a volunteer. And I just care deeply about the earth that we have been charged to till and to keep, as it says in Genesis, and have always cared about environmentally conscious things and lowering our impact on the earth. As a pastor, when someone asks you what gives you hope for the future, one of the first things that I think of is Jeremiah 29:11, which many people use around graduation. It says something like, the Lord gives you a future with hope. But I think the more important part of the book or the chapter 29 in Jeremiah is seeking the peace and prosperity of the city. In fact, it's one of the most important parts of the Bible to me, that wherever you find yourself in whatever location or whatever situation, whether it's a pandemic or something else in your life, that you are seeking the peace and prosperity of the location in which you find yourself. I think it's beautiful. I think it's important. I think it's a helpful reminder for me in my toughest of days.
Hi, I'm Libby Krebs. I am a sophomore Peace Studies and Elementary Education double major. And I am pretty involved with Peace Studies here on campus. I am an e-board member for the Kinapokamoku Peace Coalition. So that's the group here on campus that sits and discusses events and policies and things that are going on in the world and our perspectives on that, which is led by our awesome professor, Katie Gray Brown, which brings a lot of really great discussion. I am also a Peace Studies major, so I take a lot of classes around that. And then I also do a lot of events with Peace Studies, so I go on some of the service activities that we have around here. I have also been on 2 Jan terms with the Peace Studies program. So last year I went to New Orleans and we looked at the lasting effects of Hurricane Katrina and its disproportionate effects on the Black population down in New Orleans. So that was a really incredible trip. And honestly, that was the trip that made me realize that I really wanted to be a Peace Studies major. And I think that leads into why I am studying peace and the actions of peacemakers. And when I was looking at colleges, I found that I've had a lot of different interests that were centered around social justice and around environmentalism and activism. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do with that. And as I spent more time on campus, I kept hearing about more events that the Peace Studies program was doing, and I took this Jan term class, and I started to realize that Peace Studies and people who study peace can fit into many different places in the world. And it made me realize that you can be an activist and that be your 100% job, but that can also be something that you do on the side. And so when I was starting to lean more towards education, I realized I could couple my my love for studying peace with my love for working with children. So part of my interest as an elementary education major is I really, really want to work with kids who have experienced trauma. And how do you work with those kids? How do you create these maybe non-traditional ways to work in the classroom, which is a great place that we can reach kids. And so I think I study peace because not only is it effective in creating positive change, but people, no matter what major in college or whatever path life takes you on, you can implement peace into it, and it creates a lot of beautiful connections and understanding of the world around us. A current issue that I have been thinking about a lot lately has been around the pandemic, and that has to do with not only the disproportionate effect of the pandemic on minorities, but also the impact that the pandemic will have on our environment. I know here on campus we have been using a lot of single-use plastics, and we're definitely producing a lot more trash. And it's a necessary evil. We're trying to prevent getting people sick, so I understand why, but it's getting me more and more concerned about how the past year and a half is going to affect our environment and what will happen with climate change and global warming. And so that has been something that's been really heavy on my mind, and where a couple of friends and I have been working towards trying to make a project that will hopefully combat that here on campus. What gives me hope for the future is that throughout the year, while it has been a very, very tough year for many, and we have gone through a lot as a local community and a national community, it seems that our eyes are being opened. I like hearing these stories of people maybe questioning why do we do certain things? Why are certain systems in place? With the environment, what are we doing? What are we doing wrong, and how can we maybe not necessarily fix, because we're beyond fixing, but what can we do to fix our own behaviors and combat these evils? And so I am just very, very hopeful, because it seems like a lot of people are opening their eyes, and hopefully this forward momentum will take us places. And so I am excited to continue my studying here at Manchester, and I'm excited to see what the beautiful minds around me are going to do in the future. So thank you so much for letting me share.
Hi, my name is Kendall, and I'm a junior Peace Studies and Spanish double major with minors in Religious Studies and TESOL, which is Teaching English to Speakers of Other Languages. I'm involved in the Peace Studies program because I'm a student assistant for the program, so I help lead events, plan events, do random things in the PSL, which is our Peace Studies Lounge on campus that we just all kind of hang out in. So do all sorts of things like that for the program, help our Peace Studies coordinator out. And I'm also on the e-board for our Peace Studies Club, Kinapoke. So we meet at 9 p.m. every week and discuss social justice, politics, anything we're really passionate about, internships, what our alum are doing, all sorts of things. And I hope to finish school, so I have a year and a half left, and then hopefully do Fulbright, which would be teaching English abroad for a year, Peace Corps, which would be abroad for 2 years, or BVS, which would also be abroad for 2 years. I study peace because I'm really interested in conflict resolution, mediation, and just how we can tackle some of the issues that are happening in our world today nonviolently, and the strategies kind of behind those nonviolent actions. We just learn lots of cool things, and it's a different way of thinking that I haven't really thought of before college, and I love it. A current issue that I'm really passionate about is immigration. So I've taken 2 classes about immigration through the Peace Studies program, and they really opened my eyes to a lot of the injustices that happen in our immigration system and how much reform it needs, or complete change. And I hope to go to grad school for that, or for immigration after Peace Corps or BVS. I'm not quite sure in what capacity yet I want to study immigration, but I know that I definitely want to study it more. And I hope to work with immigrants or refugees after grad school. What gives me hope for the future is the amount of passion that people my age have, my fellow students have. They're so interested in the classes that we take. We have a great dialogue, and just seeing how much they want change and will work to make change happen gives me a lot of hope. And just people my age in general, like Greta Thunberg or Amanda Gorman, like all of these people just give me so much hope for the future. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Shayla Welch, and I'm a sophomore secondary math education and Peace Studies double major here at Manchester University. I'm originally from Bern, Indiana, and after graduation, I'm not 100% sure what I'd like to do. I'd really love to go into either the Brethren Volunteer Service or the Peace Corps after I graduate for a couple years, and then after that, I think I'll go into education, but hopefully have some sort of human rights or social justice focus in there too. I study peace because, honestly, I came to campus not exactly expecting to do that. I was kind of roped in. I went on a Jan term trip with the Peace Studies program, and was able to find a community of people who cared about the same things that I did, and was able to kind of see a real, tangible way to create change in the world by studying the things that I love to study and spending time with people that I love to spend time with. So I study peace for a brighter future, but also to improve myself and improve the lives of others around me. The most important social justice issue that's kind of piquing my mind right now is probably the idea of immigration and kind of what that looks like in our country right now. This is probably a pretty common answer for a lot of us. We just finished a Jan term course on kind of immigration policy, what that looks like on the border, but also in northern Indiana. And I think that ignited a lot of excitement for change within me. Especially we got to do this really awesome human rights training where we got to tactically map our missions and our goals for creating change. And so I think I'm really ignited about that. But in a more broad term, I'm really into progressive education and kind of revamping the idea of education, what it is, how it can serve students of all colors, all ages, all backgrounds, all socioeconomic statuses. So progressive education is definitely a huge thing in my mind and something that I dedicate a lot of time to, and I think I'll eventually end up dedicating my future to. The things that give me hope today are a lot of my peers, just kind of the effort that they put into peace, peacemaking, racial justice, social justice. It's just really inspiring to know that there's people going out into the world that know these things. But I'm also incredibly inspired when we get to see alum who are already in the job field or in life doing these amazing things that I hope to get to do one day. So really just the people around me give me the most hope that someday we can change the world. So, yep, that's me. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Kelsey Tyler. I'm a senior Peace Studies and Philosophy double major at Manchester. I study Peace Studies because I like learning about what's actually happening in the world, and I feel like at first I didn't know what Peace Studies was. I was just really intrigued by the professors, and the people in the program were really nice and welcoming, and I really needed friends. So I was like, okay, I'll like hang out with you guys more. And so during the classes, we were learning about like what's events that are actually happening in the world or events that have happened and how that's like changed the world. And it's just really, I feel like that's a lot more powerful of an education than just memorizing things. And I've never been the type that really enjoys school. I run on the cross country and track teams, so like that was like my main push. I've always dreamed of running in college, not at Manchester, but I've always dreamed of like being a great runner, but I've never really cared about school. And now I'm actually planning to get my master's in social work starting next fall, or this coming fall. And now I genuinely care about my schooling because I'm learning about things that are really important, and like it's amazing. And I feel like I can actually make a positive change with what I'm learning about, and it's really, really cool and really nice. What current issue in the realm of peace studies and justice interests you the most right now? I just took an immigration class this past January, and the whole immigration process really interests me. It was really sad learning about what actually happens. A lot of times when people tried to immigrate to America, especially, that's basically what we talked about. But and with social work, I'm not sure what realm I'll go into, but I've been thinking about working with immigrants. We talked with people that like help immigrants obtain like an ID, like a city ID, or like just different things like that. And I think those are very powerful, positive changes that I can help contribute to with my peace studies degree. What gives me hope for the future? This is a little bit more challenging to answer because I tend to lose hope almost every time I hear about really negative things, negative people, which happens often because in peace studies, when we talk about current events and all of that stuff, there's always like people that disagree with our views, I guess, and or are doing things that are maybe violent, and we are all about nonviolence over here. So it's really hard to like be constantly reminded that there are those people in America, and I oftentimes want to move to Canada, but what gives me hope is that there are people like the people in the Peace Studies program. There have to be more people Like, they can't just be just us. Like, there has to be a lot more of us. I hope that makes sense. But, yeah. So there are people like us who are using their lives to make a positive change in America and the world. And also what gives me hope is that just nature exists. I have a beautiful bouncing baby boy bunny, and he is so precious. And he's just like a part of nature that literally just sits in my room, and it's so beautiful. Like, animals can connect, nature can connect, everything can connect to your soul, and it's just, that gives me hope that there's more to life than like horrible things you hear about on the news and on social media, etc. I hope that was good.
Hello friends, my name is Katie Gray-Brown and I teach philosophy and peace studies at Manchester. I grew up inspired by the example of people, a number from the Church of the Brethren, who rolled up their sleeves and set about building a more just and peaceful world. I studied peace studies to really examine violence and injustice, and to learn ways that working together, we can use nonviolence to change these conditions. Recently, I've been working on campus and community projects connected to racial justice, but in addition, my work has emphasized examining poverty and immigration justice issues. Now, I'm excited that we're developing opportunities to engage in direct action in these areas in particular. While the challenges that we study in peace studies are immense and the suffering is real, every day I find hope. I'm reminded of the stories of creative and principled resistance, and I'm surrounded by people who are committed to building a different vision for the world. One of the most powerful tools that we have is the ability to build a strong, supportive community, to model the world that we seek. And being part of that, it's impossible not to feel hope.
Every single clip of people that you just saw in that video is someone in the North Manchester community right now who has devoted their life to making the world a better place in one way or another. And that is awesome. That is my favorite thing about peace studies at Manchester, about social justice in general, about being a part of the Brethren Church, that I am surrounded by people who are committed and devoted to improving the human condition. And that obviously requires quite a spectrum of work, and there's a place for all of us in there. I thought that I would quickly answer the questions that I asked other folks to answer in a sense of fairness, and so that you could get to know me a little bit better. Like I said, I came to Manchester from Minneapolis. I was raised in a household that was very human rights and social justice oriented. It's the same kind of career field that both of my parents were in. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I did know that I wanted to help and make a difference, and it honestly seemed like the only thing I could see myself doing. Along the way, I found a lot more and varied passions, and all of those passions have kind of circled around or been rooted in this desire to make the world a better place. So when I think about my studies in philosophy or in religious studies, or what I would like to do in the future, it all kind of comes through this lens that peace studies has given me to look at the world. And that lens also provides pragmatic tools for accomplishing change that I know that I want to see, and I have the capability to identify because I have had this wonderful liberal arts education. So I study peace to fulfill myself. Some of it is certainly a selfish enterprise. I study peace because the people that I look up to and want to be like study peace. I study peace because it's a it's the one thing that I feel certain is a good use of my time. And I study peace because there is suffering, and I have not endured much suffering in my life, and I recognize that that is an aspect of privilege, and I want to use that to continue to improve the human condition. As far as current issues that interest me most right now, I think you may have heard some of the students discussing a recent January course on immigration issues. I'm very passionate about that. I do my absolute best to stay abreast to American politics, the way that the current systems that we have affect people, policies, and legislation. And I'm very passionate about racial justice, having spent a long time in Minneapolis. That was recently brought to the forefront of the city's consciousness. And I think it just goes to show that it's a problem that we all have to deal with, no matter where we are. We're not exempt from racism or the problems that this country was founded on just because we live in a certain place, or think that we have some kind of intellectual superiority over someone else. Prejudice and race are problems that continue today. And I think that we're really getting to see as a society where our priorities are and where we have room for growth. And I'm really excited in my future work to continue kind of bringing education about what can be done to communities that need those resources. And I have a lot of hope for the future. Every single person that you just saw in that video talking about what inspires them and what they love about this program give me hope. I know that they are amazing people. They have done or will do or are going to continue to do amazing things. I hope to keep up with them. I hope to continue to be a part of all of their journeys. I hope to have my own journey that I can look back on with pride. And I hope that this video communicated to you all that young people today have pride in their struggle for justice, that they continue to think about these issues, that they have an ocean-sized amount of passion and heart, and I would welcome any feedback or any opportunities for connection that you see with our program and your program. Once again, I want to thank you for taking the time to, I know that there are many things that we could be spending our time doing these days, but thinking about our program and thinking about the ways that we can connect. I'm really excited about future opportunities. Thank you so much, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day.